You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live, and good morning to my main man, BigBeat. How are we doing today, Steve?
I'm good. I'm not in the firing squad line of the president and all of his people, right? I mean, I feel good about that. I mean, it seems like everybody's that's standing in his way, he just seems to go after them, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. A lot of our talk this morning going to be in regards to the White House, so it's tweet analysis again. First headline I have for us, Steve: Trump nominates Stephen Mirren to the Fed. What do you think about this one?
I like Stephen Mirren. I think he's a good guy. I think he's politically, I mean, is a little bit skewed. Needs to be careful there because it is politicizing a little bit, but has the background. He has what we call the pedigree that you need. He's not the meme coin guy, right? He's been around the world a lot. He understands it. I do like this pick. But it's only temporary. He's not picking him for long term, right? So he's just picking to replace Angela while she's resigned. So yeah, I think it's a great pick.
Yeah. So he is part of his chairman of the Economic Council. I'm a little confused. It talks about he might be a temporary pick here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's only a temporary pick. He's not going to stick around. He is chairman of CEA, so for that, I don't. It's just a temporary seat filler. Okay.
And he's definitely seen as a Trump loyalist, expected to support interest rate cuts ahead of the election for sure. So it could influence FOMC dynamics pretty much immediately, right?
He's a politicizing the Fed a little bit, but Trump realizes that he can't do it without getting away with it. So he needs to be able to pull that as a temporary. And I think this is a very good pick, very smart. And a quick, easy pick. Put him in, slide him in. Don't need Senate confirmation. Pull them out. They're temporary. That's good. Yeah. But a PhD from Harvard. I mean, here you go, where Trump's having his massive issues with Harvard, and he picks somebody that's actually the PhD from Harvard. So maybe there's a little bit of back and forth here. Maybe some cleanup. I like this pick. It's a very good pick here.
Awesome. The other news out there, tech definitely cozying up to Washington and the president. We know yesterday Apple pledged $600 billion U.S. investment. I did notice, though, that Tim Cook definitely dodged the Made in America iPhone talk that the president had. But he seems to have appeased Trump with his major supplier expansion, right?
Yeah, those knee pads were put on pretty nicely yesterday with I think we talked about this yesterday, lucite in gold. I mean, I guess Trump didn't even know how to put it together. They had to put it together for him. So, but what's interesting there is two things. Number one is that in the beginning of all this, Tim Cook said, no way can I manufacture in the United States because it's too expensive. And now all of a sudden, now we're going to implement and put $600 billion worth into the United States. So that was $600 billion was nothing compared to the amount of money they're going to make on the iPhone, right? So it's an appeasement place. So I get that. Oh, yep. Wow. Here we go. Prime Minister Modi of India has had a conversation with President Putin of Russia. Wow. That is no bueno.
Well, yeah. I mean, what is it about? I mean, that's one of those,
Oil. It's always oil and money. That's what it's always.
Is it also, wasn't there a pretty big attack on the Ukraine last night, I believe?
Yes, there is. I think that this has to stop, or this is going to end up in a world war. And I don't want to say it that badly, but this is starting to this is getting interesting here.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say the biggest failure I've seen, you could argue about them, but the biggest failure so far from the current administration is the inability to stop war anywhere. We still see,
which was his biggest point in the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, and I had hope for that. While I didn't necessarily I hate tariffs, as you know, and all that. I did think he had a good firm hand and would maybe get Putin in line, get Netanyahu in line, and all this. And it has definitely not happened so far, in my opinion. Sticking with the tech side, I also saw yesterday Amazon Web Services is going to give about $1 billion in cloud discounts to the U.S. government. So as opposed to just paying money, he is going back. I mean, you got to give him credit. He's cutting somewhere, and where he's cutting is he's going to companies and saying, give me stuff for free, or I'm going to make your life miserable. I will do what I did to the Intel CEO, and I will just absolutely slam them.
The Intel CEO is terrible. I mean, he's you had an opportunity to turn Intel around, and you didn't do it. It was just same old, same old, same old, and I didn't like that too much. I like the way you think this. He's going back to corporate, but you can't be hard on companies in a way that, oh, if you don't do what I tell you, then I'm going to screw you, right? That doesn't work. It works for a little while, and then the company
works for a little bit, right? Get you the headlines today.
And
then the other one I saw is OpenAI is giving federal access to GTP5 to the government for $1. So again, listen, these things, this will help, right? One of the big things they railed upon Elon and the Doge team was all these subscriptions, right? The people they were paying for across the federal government. So if you want to get on the good side, cut it down to $1 and let them have at it, I guess. I will tell you, I've noticed on my Chat GPT, I can't even load up 5. Even though I'm a paid subscriber, I can't get to my account. It's so I'm assuming it's it's so overworked that it's not loading up.
So you have to go to the front page of your GPT.
Oh, I know how to do it. Listen, I did. Believe me, when it wouldn't come off at the start, I researched it immediately. What I can't do is actually get to the part that says I'm Howard. There, it says it's a temporary chat. Like I can't even log in. Right
now he's just giving it up to test right now. I have been using GPT-5 for about 6 months now. I've been playing with it on the back end of it as a company that uses it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think it's not pushing the limits of what GPT does. It does allow more GPTs on top of GPTs, which I do use. For anybody who's just using as a search engine, great, but you need to learn how to actually use it to make it more efficient for you. But the key here for GPT-5 is adding all the other things into it. So right now,
and the other part that he spoke about, he was on CNBC this morning, Sam Altman, and the other part that it does work on is something that I hate, is that up until now, it's been very modular. If you wanted to do a sort of complex project, it does one step, and then you got to do step 2, and then you got to do step 3, and you got to keep coming in. Now it's going to allow you to do the multiple steps in one.
Which is why I've been telling people, don't even learn AI agentic. Agentic AI is the past, right? And they're already just implementing it right into the system. So it's like, why? If people are going to agentic AI to make something happen, you don't even need to do that anymore. You just tell the machine what you want to do, and the machine takes all the agentic AI and shoves it into it. That's gone.
Well, so that was another interesting one, because Sorkin put him right on the spot and said, should I be loading my information into ChatGPT? And he flat out said, probably not, Sam Altman.
Yeah.
And I did notice that when they made that move to agentic, it gave me the option. It said, hey, we're moving to agentic. Here are the warnings we're telling you. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not loading my email into you. I'm not loading my passwords. I'm not, because as they pointed out, once you have it in that system, number one, not so much is it even a hackable, but it's also information that just can be released to the public at some point.
Well, yes, and you're absolutely right. And I'm one but to be honest with you, a public figure like myself, it's already out there. I don't know what I can do else to save it. So I might as well learn from it. I think in the future, I think that our protection and cybersecurity is the number one issue, I think, right now when it comes to tech. That we need to see, but unfortunately, I mean, we can't stop the data, right? What you can do is stop the criminals, and I think that that's what's going to happen next. Criminals will be there. I'll make this point. In the future, these hacking criminals, these tech criminals that are coming out, will be gone in the future. Oh, well, why? How's that? Oh, there'll always be hackers. Well, they won't be hackers because they won't be able to hack anything, right? They won't be able to get in any system. You get busted, you're going to get busted, and you're going to get hurt, right? Because I'm under pressure.
Yeah, but they live in North Korea. No one's busting them. I mean, the largest hacking group in the world by far, all of them are state-sponsored. They're either state-sponsored by North Korea, state-sponsored by Russia, or state-sponsored by Iran. So you're not arresting any of those people.
That's correct, but I think in the future, North Korea won't be North Korea. So
Okay. I will tell you that the difference in most of the hacks is what we do see the difference is that, protocols like in the old days of crypto, Mango markets got manipulated by, Mr. Ivanberg, and they stole all the money from everybody. What's happening now, it's all phishing attacks. So they don't steal from the protocols, they steal from you.
That's right.
And that's the big difference that we've seen on it. Has
And
been
people
that
won't
move,
put up
right?
with it much longer. People will be pissed about it, and they
There's
will
no
go
way
after
but people still click. Unfortunately, that's the problem. Just yesterday, just yesterday, a major, I'm not going to tell you who he is, but a major developer / founder of a huge crypto project lost $3 million on one click on a phishing attack. So, these are educated people that know the markets, that know what it is. These guys are good, man. It's one of those things.
It's hard, but don't click, right? Yeah, don't click.
Yeah, don't click on anything. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I get 15 to 20 emails a day telling me my Coinbase has been hacked or something else. So you just got to avoid them. Steve, I know this won't make you happy because people losing money never makes you happy, but you are definitely Mr. I hate the Crocs. Worst day in 14 years today. Down 29%. After forecasting a 9 to 11% year-over-year revenue decline.
I mean, who the hell's wearing them anymore? I mean, it's just
me.
Okay. Who the hell's wearing them anymore, right? I mean, it's like, no. Crocs.
Yeah, it just shows you the deterioration of trends. Things that were, the shiny little pet rock of last year, and that is not the shiny pet rock of this year.
I used to like Crocs, and I think they made the right move, but that's all they ever had, right? It's a one-trick pony, and I don't like one-trick ponies, right? So, yeah,
absolutely, I would say that for sure. Definitely a one-trick pony. Economic data this week. Today at 10:30, we're going to have U.S. crude oil inventories. 1 o'clock, the 10-year auction. 30-year auction. And 4:10, the Fed commentary post-market. So any of those you're looking at today?
I mean, I'm looking forward to Rick Santelli telling me how bad the economy is. I expect that soon, right? 4.265 now on the 10-year. It could get worse. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yep, definitely there when it comes to that. When it comes to earnings, our friend Jack Dorsey had a nice little day, quarter, whatever you want to call it here. Nice move up by Square, raised their full year profit forecast to $10.17 billion from $9.96. More importantly, both Square and Cash App seeing improved growth momentum. And as they talked about, open source AI agents now driving faster products development cycles. So again, talking about, as you said, maybe agentic AI isn't important to you and I, but for developers or companies using it to do
it's very important. But the thing is, I wouldn't be training your stuff on it because, quite frankly, they're just building it right into the system. I think you just said that, right? They're building it right into the GPTs, right? So you don't have to, as a company, even learn agentic AI as a person, right? So if you're learning, hey, I want to do this, and this, and you try to put all the agentic AIs and all the pieces of the puzzle, you don't need to do that anymore. It's like going back to the beginning, right? When you were in Microsoft Word and you had to go back and Control Alt and Control B and Control I and Control U and do all that. Now it just automatically does it. Now it knows what you want, and it knows that you like this thing paragraph and bold, and it does it for you automatically. You just tell it, right? You put a little button. So that's what I'm saying to people. Agentic AI is really, really cool right now.
Absolutely. The other one that had been surging was gold. I see it's pulled back down, but gold futures spiked to 35.34, a new intraday record after the Financial Times reports that there's going to be tariffs on Swiss gold bars.
What in the world is going on? Tariffs on gold, the most unregulated business in the world. Gold is not regulated, folks. And I was reminded again yesterday that by Pete Thomas, all right? It's true. You're going to put tariffs on gold? I mean, that I don't know, man. The world we live in right now, I don't know. It's just
his surprise move may reclassify 1 kilogram and 100-ounce bars to 39% import duties. That's just crazy talk, right?
I mean, as my dad always says, consider the source.
Yeah. That one caught me by surprise.
Steve
Yeah.
Vladimir talking about it right now. He says, gold tariffs, more pressure on the Canadian dollar. I agree with that. The loonie is an interesting place right now because they are having issues with the United States. I will say that this could be a back smack because Canada is talking about joining the EU, right? So if they do that, then Canada and Switzerland, I can understand the gold back end, but I find this very, very piss poor, to be honest with you. And you can quote me on that.
Yeah. On the other side of that, and maybe where the president is trying to push people to, which I appreciate, is Bitcoin. We know that he signed the order. I talked about the order a little bit, but they signed the order clearing crypto for 401ks. Orders directs the Labor Department to open the door for crypto in retirement plans. I will warn everybody, this is a little bit of a sell the news type of thing because it's going to take until these companies actually put those offerings into place. Just because you make it legal doesn't mean Fidelity, Vanguard, and the others already have it ready to go.
They're going to do it.
They're going to move quickly, but it's not there. It's not right there. They've made it. In fact, the first couple to come out said expect rollout in 2026. So it's long to ramp up.
Here's what's going on behind that, the 401ks. So as these baby boomers are passing away and moving money down, it's making it easier for the baby boomers to put gold and silver and crypto and alternatives that the kids are wanting. Hey, Dad, don't just buy me Bitcoin and put it in my account. Buy it in your 401k and then give it to me because it's tax-free, right? And they can trade the 401ks. So I think this is a smart move. It's setting up the future, not just setting up what's happening right now. So this is a good thing, but do I want grandma buying Bitcoin? Probably not.
Well, I mean, that's always already there. So self-directed IRAs have had the ability to do that stuff. Where this is going to go in, it means, if you buy the Vanguard 2076 because you're 20 years old and that's your retirement date, they will weight some of that money for you into Bitcoin now. That's right, yeah. That's the big change that it is. It will be part of those bigger ones because it's already been in a lot of those, and that's the first place what I was going to say. Those
Vanguard funds are the biggest funds out there, right? So this is huge. It's about $15 trillion, by the way. For those who don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying is, but that will take more time to roll out. Those of you that want access now, most of the self-directed IRAs are already starting to launch the ability to do this. So that's all I wanted to point out there. Let's stay with the good sides. AI is definitely not dead. SoundHound and Expedia lead the pre-market gainers. SoundHound AI up 22% here this morning after a 217% year-over-year revenue beat. So not against a small number, Steve. This one's up against a big number. So what do you think there? Are you a fan of SoundHound?
No. Because I think that the subscription model in music is very good. But SoundHound's a little different. If you were asking me about Amazon's music or Apple Music and the bigger ones, they have a much bigger no, I don't. I think this is a one-off here, to be honest with you. Expedia leading here with the AI. I think it's really good. I think it's smart because, quite frankly, a good example. I got to go to New York next week. Guess what's going to happen? Kaboom! It already knows what hotel I like. It already knows what flight I like, and it's looking for the best price for me. Right? That Expedia already does that, right? It already gives you tries to find the best price for you. So adding AI to this is smart, right? And I don't need a car. It knows I don't need this and that. Just knows what I want, and that's really good. So Expedia should do very well in the SoundHound. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Expedia definitely, and in general, travel leading the way. On the other side of that, Pinterest and Under Armour missed badly. Both of us have been sort of negative on both of those things. We don't understand Pinterest, you and I, at all. We are definitely not the user case there. And Under Armour, even though we both lived a long time and know Mr. Plank very well, from our days in DC and Maryland. They just slashed Outlook again, down about 14%. Pinterest down about 12%.
Yeah, look, I've hung out with him a lot. I'm doing Buffett concerts, right? I will tell you that Under Armour makes a good product. Go to the outlet malls and you'll see Under Armour just being sold like crazy. The problem is they don't make clothes for normal people. Not everybody's a runner. Not everybody's a sports guy, right? So a lot of people just love. I mean, I love the Under Armour, on my, the clothes fit well back in the day. And as I got bigger and as I, they didn't fit. Now here I am a lot lighter. They still don't. They fit, but I just haven't. They've lost interest, right? They've not been making clothes for people. They've been making clothes for themselves. So that's great. And that's why Under Armour is down. Pinterest, okay, still don't understand Pinterest. I get that's the idea generator, but you got to make an idea generator that makes money. So, right, I don't understand it. Yeah, I think it's
one that you and I have been talking about. We're not a big fan on as it was. Trade Desk down about 32% here on tepid guidance.
All right.
You brought it up. No one advertises this time of the year, and now what we see out of ESPN and all the streaming companies and the direct to consumer is going to put more stress on them, right?
Okay. Yep. Trade Desk. For those of you who don't know, Trade Desk is advertisers. They're the ones that there's a lot of companies coming out. Vibe Mountain is taking over. We're the ones that we advertise on Vibe. Now, here's what I'm telling people right now. During this time of the summer, nobody's advertising money is going. Beep. We've been talking about this for about 6 months now. But I will tell you what's coming up. Next year, the election, and Trade Desk always does well during election year because money flows into normal television, and with that, you'll see Trade Desk flying higher. So if you're looking to pick up something here, and we don't tell anybody what to buy or sell here, we just don't do that, but Trade Desk is looking mighty fine. Give it a few days to circle out. Look, a good example that would be yesterday with Eli Lilly, right? Eli Lilly got smacked on their numbers, and guess what happened? They bought the dip. So this is another one of those could be bought by the dip. What we're finding out really quickly, this is a good example of this. We know that the market is the most shorted by institutions in history. Never in history of time as the institutional and the international institutional as well is shorting this market big time. What's holding it up? Retail. So retail will eventually get caught with the pants down and the market will fall. When it happens, be prepared, right? We're not there yet. So when this happens, you're already seeing it now single-handedly in little stocks. So now I don't say little stocks, I mean in single stocks, right? So you're already seeing Lilly dropped yesterday, right? Boom, right? It's starting back. It's way back up. IBM, same thing. Not too long ago, fell on the way back up. This is a stock picker's market, and sometimes when the big seller happens, it won't hit them as hard because they've already had this 32% drop, right? They've already had this 20% drop. So this is what I'm saying. I think this is stock picker's market, and I like Trade Desk on this sell, but let it continue to sell. We'll find it. Don't want to catch the knife on this one.
Absolutely, and as you can see, filled the gap to the downside here on the daily chart. So that's one of the reasons that I had to speak for Steve, why he probably likes it. We love to see those kind of technical things. You filled the gap to the downside, gives you room for a methodical run back up to the upside. Steve, we are about 2 minutes from the open. 1953 is advanced decline to the upside so far, but fairly muted. Q's up about 20 basis points, SPY up about 30 basis points. Dow set to open up slightly up so far. What are you thinking we get at the open here? Is this a sell the news day, or are we going to see some buying?
It's Friday. I mean, I don't expect anything here good at all. I don't think this is a day to be buying the dips. Yesterday I liked it, but today I'm just kind of like, we're hearing Russia's Putin also held a phone call with China's Xi. It looks like that the world's kind of telling Putin to chill out. That he's losing.
I hope that's what they're telling him. He could also be trying just to rally support. We don't know who's calling whom and what the discussion is there for that.
Yeah.
Just seeing news, I think this is interesting. Binance is working with BBVA out of Spain to allow their customers to hold the assets off of the crypto exchange. So one of the things that has been talked about for the last, since FTX collapsed, was how do we get centralized exchanges to connect to self-custodial wallets? And it looks like Binance looking to do that. So
I love it. Good move on Binance. As you know, Quasar Markets is a partner with Binance. We love what they're doing. We like.
And as Mr. Flanagan says, they're sort of echoing what I just sort of said: is are the BRICS uniting? And
no, they're not uniting.
They're already right now.
They're not uniting. They're already united. I mean, they're not united. Yeah. They're already united. I mean,
I mean, in other words, that if he's going to do a big offensive right now, and he's just calling these guys to say, "Hey, here's what's going on. I'm going to finish the job," so to speak, and they give him the go-ahead.
We are live here. The markets are open. I'm just not.
Dow Jones opens up 30 basis points here. First move there's to the upside. SPY pretty flat right at that 570.82. Now moving a little bit to the upside to start off with. SPY's first move to the upside also up 34 basis points.
FIG is up 4.5% here so far and getting smacked again. Yesterday, Fly was the IPO yesterday, and it got absolutely crushed.
Another one today. I forget what's launching today. My mind's gone blank, but there is another IPO today. That's another tech IPO. Yeah, I don't remember. See if I can find that news quickly. Bitcoin back at 116,737 here. Needs to hold above 17.4 to see the next move to the upside. Gold moving up a little bit here, back towards that 33,400 area. 3,400, excuse me. Tick's gone slightly negative. Advanced decline settles in right about 2,500 here to start off with. Small caps leading the way. The RUT up 51 basis points. For those that don't know, the RUT is the small cap 2000 index. See what we've got on the pumpers here this morning. So right now, PSIX, Power Solutions International, the big winner, up 36.65%, and that's jumped since pre-market because that was not in. That is on an earnings beat here, so nice move up by PSIX here, trying to run away. 120.62. Here you go, moving back to the upside. Could see a runner here. It could have a smaller $2.76 billion market cap, so I wouldn't call it a smaller coin, a smaller stock, but moving to the upside. Same thing, LZ was not moving in the pre-market, now taking off here. LZ is LegalZoom. I haven't heard that name in a while. Wow, look at that move to the upside, Steve. 32% here.
Yeah, I popped FIG here just a second ago. I wasn't trying to do it on accident. I was going to put an order in. I've got the orders in. I was going to talk about it, but then it already popped to the upside. So I was like, yeah, that was too quick. Trade desk now down 38% here. Wow. I think we could watch trade desk here at down 39%. That's kind of high right now, I think, right?
I mean, to me, it is. It's like you said, that company, it still is the best in class when it comes to what it does, right?
I like this selling here. I'm gonna pick it up here down here. I think this is dumb. This is stupid here. Mispricing of pricing here. There it is. Let's see what I got in at. I went market on this order. 54.74 is the first buy. Yeah. I think this is a very, very dumb move on trade desk. I'm going to buy some more here, start to accumulate here. I think this selling is way out of whack here. 38% is just stupid.
I don't want to speak for Steve, but as you know, he'll be willing to take a quick pump here, or as he talked about earlier, putting this into his long-term portfolio is something he wanted to do at some point here. So it could work either way. I love the idea of having that as, a double sort of edge there.
Yeah. I did not average in on this one. I am in at averaging at 54.66. So there we go already. Oof. Okay.
Okay. Q's bouncing to the upside here a little bit from that pullback lows of the day, 570.16, back up to 570.57. Same type of situation here on the SPY, back up to 634 after getting down to 633.
I don't know why, but I had to take a profit here. Look at that bounce there. That's what I'm talking about. That is the mispricing of pricing, folks. That's what I meant with a mispricing of pricing. It was too far to the downside, too fast, and those shorts took the profit. And whoo, yeah. Oh, mama mia! Look at that. Look at that.
Well, continue to
look at that move.
Upside
look at the upside there on trade desk. Look at that. Look at that pop. Look at that 1 second pull up. If you've got a quicker look at that 54, 55, 50 now. 55, 72, 50. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. This pricing. That selling was way too much. It was just easy, folks. That was an easy move. I just bought me a new suit.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, if the downgrade's a 55, when you're at 55, then there's your answer, right? I mean, yeah.
There's your support level, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And I think that
I will say this is the biggest drop. I just mentioned that it was the biggest drop we ever saw on Crocs. We now trade desk, same thing. Biggest one-day drop in their intraday drop in their
This is what I meant earlier when I said that we might be seeing single stock drops faster, right? Than when it comes around. But yeah, I'm not touching Crocs. There's no case for me. There's no thesis. Did you notice yesterday Jim Cramer started talking about thesis trading?
No, I don't watch him.
I coined that term 20 plus years ago, and now everybody's mama mia.
Swiss Gold Association just released or just came out and said the imposition of tariffs on these gold cast products make it economically unviable to export them to the U.S. I wonder if the president was holding a lot of gold before he did this.
I mean, I give the president a lot of crap. I'm not gonna give him. I mean, just as my dad always says, consider the source.
Q's moving back to the upside, highs of the day here. So we are seeing some nice moves to the upside starting to kick in here.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a good morning already. I think I'm gonna sit on my hands here, Howard.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
Bitcoin still just can't see the move, huh?
It's in a decent spot. Nothing wrong with where it's consolidating here. I like it a lot better at 116 above that 115.4 area than I did below it.
Agreed.
It's holding up pretty well. Ethereum 39.22. We're at the sort of the top of ranges on a lot of things. We'll see if we can break what has been key resistance at that 4,000 level for Ethereum. I do see more. There's more institutional interest in Ethereum than Bitcoin right now. We're definitely seeing that. Looking pretty good. question on Ethereum is going to be, there's a whole bunch of people that bought in January when it broke 4,000 and 4,100, thinking it was going to 6,000, that are capitulating into each of these pumps up. So are we going to peck away at those, sell orders and get through that way, or will it take a flush of liquidations in the perpetual futures to send us up? But one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Moody's just warning that U.S. tariff may hurt India's manufacturing push. I would have to say that's for sure, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yes. Tick has gone slightly negative when we've given back about 800 on the advanced decline. That leads me right into what I wanted. We didn't talk about it on the pre-market, but zero DTE options driving the intraday volatility. You saw a great article that was discussing how retail traders are just fading whatever is, the macroeconomic headline of the day. So
they are.
If TDD is just dropping to the hell, they're buying the dip. If, Expedia is moving to the upside tremendously, they're selling it at that point. And they're doing it tremendously with zero DTEs.
There we go. TTD now down to 55 again. Can we hit it again?
Q stalling out a little bit here. We're just seeing a lot of chop. I will say that's what I noticed yesterday in the crypto during the cash market. It was all chop, chop, chop.
I think the problem with me with TTD right now is the volume is only 20 million. It's not really enough right now for me to think about this one again. The volume is kind of dried up there a little bit. 10-year now pushing off the charts here, 4.277 here.
We just had OPEC numbers came up. Oil output rises by 270,000 barrels a day. So we did say the crude numbers were coming out here this morning.
How about Canada's unemployment shrinking this morning, huh? That's a big deal. That means we're losing jobs. Guess what we're losing to Canada. TTD is starting to push up a little bit. Oh, look at the Q's taking off there.
Yeah. What are you watching there, Steve? Anything exciting?
Paint dry. I mean, it's Friday, right? So it's an interesting situation right now where you've got some obviously some options coming off today. Ron says he's buying Ethereum here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 55.95 again. The TTD is still pushing higher here. TTD now down 36 points. So a quick 2% here turnaround here.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice move.
Now down 32%. So a quick 6% move here, right? So
yep. Definitely nice move.
Yeah, the mispricing of pricing there was way out of whack. You could see where the big volume on the open there, were just everybody's just dumping. That was just.
I will say, yes, baby. Look at Palantir today, up another 2.5% there. 186.77. Won't stop.
I
Can't
love
stop.
Palantir, but I think this.
I know. You keep saying that. I keep staying in it, and it keeps moving up. I'm okay with it right now.
Yeah, I would. You know, if I were you, I'd put that trailing stop in, my man.
Yeah, no, it's my long-term stuff. I already took out the swing trade stuff. Same thing, UNH, nice little bounce for me. All of my long-term holdings, actually. I don't usually look at them very often. Most of them are moving to the upside nicely here today. Robinhood back at 112.70 here also. I will say, based on Mr. Thomas, I did buy some copper over last week. That didn't move in that much. Not doing much of anything, one way or the other. Good start to the day, though.
$56.41 now in TTD.
I will point out, like we were saying, is what you do notice is the, SoundHound 25.84% to the upside here, right at almost trying to break what had been the local resistance here. So SoundHound trying to move to the upside still.
Look at silver pushing here, 38.37 now. Oh,
We'll tell you the other one. I will say the defense sector just keeps picking up. Kratos, that you and I have talked about and like a lot, up to 63.01 here. Looking to break to an all-time high.
Yeah, Kratos Defense is a very cool company. They do have a lot of things on them. Yeah.
Yeah. So one that I definitely like. Part of my long-term holdings there also. Another earning dropper today, SEZL, Sezzle Inc., down. Package software company down here about 32% here this morning. Chip sector definitely having a nice day here. AMD up 2%. Nice move to the upside after that dip on Monday. Intel is bouncing back about 1% after that beat down the CEO took yesterday. WTI on those OPEC reports, while it's up today, has dropped significantly down at the 63.50 level, Steve. Does seem like OPEC wants to hurt the U.S. producers for sure.
Man, look at the Qs, just off the races there.
Yeah. And Mag 7 leading the way. NVIDIA 182.72 up 1% here. Apple over 220 here. That had been struggling at 200 level just a month ago. Microsoft at 523.93. Google up 1.7%. Meta just went green, so now Meta went back. Now it's green, now it's not. Keeps going back. Tesla at 329.36. Broke back above the 200-day MA here, so Tesla's starting to get a little bit of a foothold here. It looks like it wants to make a breakout here. You got some room on Tesla. See this run to 350 today. Steve, I guess you know what I would say today too is, we know that it's still the end of the summer here. A lot of the institutional guys are hitting the beach if they already haven't hit the beach yet. Do you think retail drives the truck today?
I think that they all have their phones on them, so I don't think they care about that, right? I think they just don't care. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're just going to let retail do what they want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Today.
Yeah. That's kind of what my thoughts process is. That yeah.
I will say these quick pumps have been getting sold off recently. Ethereum back at 39.88 here. They're trying to break out. I still think that 40.50 is the key spot to watch. Got to break and hold above 40.50. Not just clear out the liquidations there.
I am going to short Tesla here at the top. I think it's a little bit pricey here up here on the day. I know you think that you think, but I am just now shorting it here a little bit.
There you go. You know me. I don't fade the Musk.
Yes, I'm aware, but it's a quick trade.
Yep. No scalping. I don't.
Yeah, already hitting it already. Yeah, shoot. Well, that's fast. A little bit more of a drop there, and oh, look at that! Gosh, mighty, that was easy. That was easy money there. It was I had a big order there though, on that short. So yeah.
We'll say for all you Ripple Army fans out there, the SEC has finally agreed to drop the suit. So we we're definitely going to probably see a run by Ripple here. SEC and Ripple Labs have filed to dismiss their respective appeals in the long-running XRP case, a move that will formally close that case. So in a joint stipulation lodged in the U.S. Court of Appeals, two parties agreed to withdraw both the SEC's appeal and Ripple's cross appeal. So it does look like Ripple just wants to get on with their lives. Hughes pulling back a little bit here, back to 572.25, so almost $1 from their highs.
Tesla slipping harder here now.
All 11 sectors of the S&P 500 are in the green so far today.
According to TASS, Putin and Modi discussed trade and economic and investment cooperation.
Like I said, like Mr. Flanagan said, and I've been saying, maybe they're just tightening up the bricks. Another takeaway I had from that Block's earning report too is they are going to launch their new Bitcoin mining chips. They've been working on them for a few years. They're going to come out, I believe, next week.
Zora said she got her 6.25 points today. One and done. Yep.
Well nice. Done. Love it, buddy. Love it, Zora. That's the way. That's the way.
Indeed.
And Zora wakes up on the West Coast in Oregon to trade this early in Watch House.
So does Mr. Ron. Ron does too.
Oh, yeah. Try Ron. They're close. Well, not close, but yeah, Ron too. They're very, very similar people, Zora and Ron.
Let me tell you, it's interesting. When I was in, they're there. Did we just get it? Did we Ethereum just do it?
4,008 just broke 4,000. There you go. Our boy Aaron Scherz must be very happy here. But the question is it going to break out? This is going to be liquidations. So expect to see a pump up here to 4,100. The question is it a sustainable move to the upside, or does it quickly get sold off here? Love to see it hold. If it can hold this 4,000, it's definitely going to be alt season back in place. And I do see Solana here trying to push back up to that 180 on that news also. Back below 4,000. Like I said, that's the line in the sand has been that 40.50 right now. And we do peak our heads above it. Back above 4. Solana breaks 180 here. Watch for a nice move to the upside. It's going to go from 180 to 188 quick. I mentioned in my room yesterday that XRP, once it broke that 310, was going to 334. They've been honoring these fib sections. Technical analysis is definitely back when it comes to the crypto side. It is respecting levels tremendously. Interesting how the Bitcoin mining companies are actually down today with Bitcoin getting ready and crypto running. That will probably change fairly quickly. If you're looking for some buy the dip opportunities, I'd be looking at all these Bitcoin mining companies today. Advanced decline staying pretty steady here in that 1700 area. RUT has pulled back from its highs of the morning, so we have seen a sell-off a little bit across the small caps, while the Qs continue to see steam picking up at highs of the day here, trying to break above 573 here. Steve, are we going to hit an intraday high on the Qs?
No.
Pretty close. We are
I think we
$2 away.
I think that they're just going to pull back a bit here. Tesla just jumping up again. 332.45.
Yeah. Like I said, I gave you the levels.
Yeah,
You're a scalper. I'm not a scalper.
Yeah, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it again. Oh.
And a couple of the Bitcoin mining companies now going green here. So like I said, if you're looking for a spot, these could be the spot. Bitcoin and Ethereum start running today. They will bring them with them. Bitcoin trying to reestablish above 117. 117.4 will give you some liquidations to the upside. So keep an eye on that. So far looking strong across all the markets here. Gold back above 3,400, Steve.
Indeed. Oops.
Saw this come across my tweet deck here. 65% of Gen Z believe that investing is their best shot at becoming a millionaire, per Harris report. That's bullish for all markets.
It is, and stupid. Uh-oh.
You've seen a report out of CNN. Nike says they're going to take a hit of about post this here. Nike is saying they're going to take a hit of about $1 billion because of the tariffs. They're going to need to offset that with higher prices. Adidas, a $230 million hit. They said they're going to have to raise prices. And the one that I talked about recently that has not raised prices, Walmart, now saying they are going to raise prices. So we had seen Amazon, who had said they weren't and did, and that got proven, through the last couple of months. Walmart, who has been eating those tariffs, doesn't look like they're going to do it anymore.
No, they're not going to do it anymore. They can't do it. It can be a profitable company.
Forever, right? They did it for a little bit to get it going, but they can't do it forever. I will say also, like I said, watch those Bitcoin mining companies today because of the fact that all the news is starting to settle in on Ethereum for 4,000. So you're going to see a switch of people piling money into Ethereum here at the cost to probably Bitcoin and the Bitcoin mining companies. So keep that in mind. Ethereum is going to get the alpha today, over 4,000 again. Although with that being said, Bitcoin broke 117 here. Solana over 180 on the futures. So looking really strong across crypto. I see we got our main man, Mr. Flanagan, here to talk about everything going on across all of the different markets. So let's bring him in here. How are we doing today?
Good morning. Doing good. And while just picking up on that about the crypto, isn't it interesting that crypto suddenly starting to break out as the U.S. clearly pushing very hard behind crypto? And on the other end of the world, we've got the BRICS nations all trying to get together, making phone calls to each other about how unfair the U.S. is with tariffs.
Well, I mean, Trump did one thing well. He united the whole world against us. So congratulations, Mr. President.
Well, Steve, I think a lot of this now is beginning to show the threat on gold tariffs. Clearly is aimed to me at Canada, as many of the largest producers are out of Canada. So I don't know. This is an interesting world. We seem to be coming to a pivot. The dollar is down about 10.8% for the first half of the year. And that's the lowest it's ever come since 1973. Well, for those in our market here, 1971 is when currencies started to trade freely. So when one puts it in that type of magnitude, and the bearish sentiment on every article you read is U.S. trade policy going to causing a confidence problem, recession is coming, and you're at the dead lows. Since 1973, you haven't seen this type of sell-off in the dollar. I don't know. I got a fishing pole on the other side of the boat right now. I'm going to try my luck. I'm establishing some long dollar plays here. Everybody's saying it's gotten so expensive to go to Japan and to Europe now. Well, the flip side of that coin is it's gotten so cheap to come to the U.S. now. So
absolutely
interesting point we seem to be at here.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. DXY, what are you thinking here, Steve? 98.23 this morning.
Yeah, this is a critical, this was my zone, 98 figure to 20. I think this is the good support zone. Beginning to break out the dollar index. I do think clearly last week's close of 98.69 is going to hold us on resistance today. So the upside is still a struggle against a very entrenched market sentiment to be short US dollars. But let's look for some of the, cracks in the theory here. Dollar yen 147.75, last week's close 147.38. Dollar yen is a very sensitive currency because it reflects what we would call safe haven aspects. If money is now pushing it higher on the week, I would have to say that that's a very positive potential signal. And another thing I would look at is, sterling. I talked about sterling being the one I'm watching this week. They cut interest rates 0.25%. However, it took them 2 votes First time in history
Huh.
for the Bank of England to get to that point. So
I haven't.
the dissenters were right there. Most of the dissenters were for a higher, a hawkish stance. So they got 0.25%, what they call a hawkish cut. However, the first round, there were a few that wanted a 0.5% cut. So interesting, the word dissenter, because we know that the Fed had two dissenters. First time since what, 1993?
30 years ago. Yep, 30 years.
And
Yep.
now we've got another Fed governor coming in who will be a third dissenter.
Yeah, absolutely. How many does it take?
Yeah, well, so what I'm trying to say, the big macro picture. Woo! There's trouble in the world brewing, big time. And, you know, I talk about FX. FX is the fulcrum under a seesaw. The world balances all of its money, and FX is where the fulcrum is. It is the tectonic plates. Interest rate divergence throughout the world is at, you know, levels we have not seen since the 70s and 80s.
Right.
So something's got to give, and something's got to give. I don't know which way. To me, when I look at the world and read everything, the institutional traders of the world are massively short equities and playing against this move. They are massively short in dollars. They are big short. So when I look at the institutions and I see that the narratives in the market, I'm like, they're holding on to a thin straw here. It's only going to take one more for the camel's back to break. Now, Steve's talked about retail buying in the market. Well, there's another part that we have to look at. How many $1 trillion are in the money market funds? And when you begin to see equities moving like this, there is a tidal wave of money that is just sitting, especially when you talk about interest rate cuts in the US, which are growing large right now. So that means watch for that money to move out of the parked assets, meaning money market funds, and that could be a very large buyer into the US markets. I'm looking at it as a very rosy situation. I'm not ruling out that we're not going to see a correction. Corrections are very healthy, but as we saw Friday's correction, that last Friday, that narrative has quickly given way to what's happened this week. So use corrections as your entry points and use these rallies as your exit points.
Absolutely, got to be the way to do it. Without a doubt, I think that you nailed it right there. That's what we be telling people, you know. Don't be afraid to take profits. You can always get back in the trade on the next dip or the next breakout. There's always another trade that you can look at for sure. You know, and that's definitely got to be part of what you're doing.
That's right. You know, and next week we've got CPI numbers coming out. So we'll start with China over the weekend. And, you know, we want to watch that one real carefully because, you know, China has been cratering into a deflation. Their PPI is expected to come out, PPI, producer price, at minus 3% this weekend. So that's on the back of a recent June's number of minus 3.6%. So what does that mean? It means watch for more stimulus. And when I talk like that, I'm saying more stimulus out of China. Japan's on hold. More stimulus. We've got RBA on Tuesday, Reserve Bank of Australia, expected to make a 0.25% cut. And that would bring us down to about 3.6%. And then we have US CPI on Tuesday expected to be 0.2 versus the 0.3. So if you get a softer reading there, along with what's going on in the world, you know, the recipe, the ingredients are there for a continued rally, but I'm cautious here. The extent of the move, the dollar move, it's an expensive currency to be short, the dollar. So if you're not getting headway on the downside, you are paying interest every night to hold a short US dollar and long euro, if I just use those currencies in particular.
Absolutely, absolutely. Steve brought up Canada actually showed some progress. I guess you would call it right today in their numbers.
Yeah,
Loonie
well,
at 137.50 or so. What are you thinking?
well, dissect the number. They lost 40,000 jobs in the month, and the unemployment rate went down. So where's my revision coming? Okay, but yes, it's 6.9% unemployment from 7%. Headline looks pretty good, right? It's a tenth of a point improvement, but I would not go as far as saying that they're gaining jobs while we're losing, because actually they lost jobs on the month. So while the number looks a little bit better, Canada's in a sideways play here. I'd watch that one carefully. I think that you're seeing, it's going to close lower on the week, 137.55 right now versus a 137.89 last week close. So, I don't like being long CAD. It's an alternative outside of the U.S., as is the MEX at 1855. It's closing lower from 1885 last week. It's an 8% currency, so money still wants to park outside of the U.S. When those two currencies begin to turn back to the higher side, then my idea will become through to fruition, and that would be a higher dollar. Again, emphasize, the first half of the year, dollar down 10.8%, hasn't seen that since 1973. I don't want to be in that trade anymore.
Absolutely. I do have to point this out. Just came across from Bloomberg. U.S. Russia said to plan Ukraine deal, cementing Russia's gains.
That's going to be a geopolitical positive. And, that could be something to keep an eye on in the euro. You could see the euro spike up on that, because a lot of people would say I'm short euros because of that situation being on the doorstep. But, again, I like to dissect the numbers. Germany had some rather atrocious, industrial production numbers released in the last 2 days. And Germany is the engine of European growth. So I wouldn't go so far as to say that's something I want to jump on. Geopolitically wise, it could be a huge positive to the world.
Absolutely.
And
anything else you have for us going into the weekend here, Mr. Flanagan?
Well, all these calls from India to Brazil, India to China, India to Russia, I would have thought maybe this was, some political pressure on Russia, like let's get a deal done. But I'm kind of perhaps a topic for another day when we have Steve in. But, what is going on between the BRICS and the U.S.? Clearly, the BRICS are beginning to, complain to each other about the U.S. tariff situation. There is no suitable goal. There is no suitable currency. They can say we want to put more currency transactions in our domestic currencies, but there's no depth to those markets that would offer a suitable solution to the world. I'm wondering if the end run on the BRICS is crypto, and that's why the U.S. could be pushing it so much. Something you and I might want to discuss a little bit more at another day.
We've seen that, I don't know if you saw or heard us talk about it. China came out this week and came up with their regulations. The one stipend to that is they're going to be the liquidity provider for those exchanges. That with all the money, all the confiscated crypto they have, they want to control the liquidity. So they've made, ways for exchanges to reopen there that haven't been opened in Hong Kong for a while. They're trying to woo back some of the crypto industry. But they want to be the market maker. I don't know who wants to trade. I'm not trading anywhere with China as my counterparty.
They've got a bad rep. I mean, and I don't have the figures. Nobody does. But what is China's debt?
Right.
And if
Yeah.
you go through the numbers and take all the states involved in China, their debt is estimated over 50 trillion, while the US is punching 35, 36 trillion. And we have a larger economy. So
Right.
clearly, yeah, I want to be the ticket taker in the crypto world if I'm China, because that cha-ching, that means money to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there's an untrustworthy situation, and I don't think that would ever happen.
Yeah, I can't imagine. If anything, I think it's going to backfire personally, and it won't bring people back. It will. Again, it's going to take arm ringing and so forth to get exchanges and crypto companies back there. We've seen how Trump's been doing that to get them here in the U.S. So maybe they will have some luck there. Singapore really had become the hub of crypto for the Asia, APAC. Without a doubt, they surpassed Hong Kong. We'll see if that keeps up.
And, just to elaborate one more point to the viewers here, China has two markets to trade their currency. There's an internal market that you can't trade, and then there's an external market that you can trade, both of which are highly controlled by the central bank. So is that a market environment that anybody wants to be involved in? No. The answer is clearly no. Great idea. But we are moving further down the road. But the U.S. seems to be on an express train. And, the idea to be able to settle, because it's all about settlement, to be able to settle a transaction in the crypto world immediately, that is the blockchain idea. And that is, I think, behind the emphasis here. China, again, with two markets, I want to be able to settle immediately. I'm not sure that that's their vision.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Flanagan, thank you so much, like always, for bringing your wisdom here to Quasar Markets. Everybody, will see you back here again early Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Right now, do you have any guesses on how we finish up here? Qs are up at 572.63, so slightly off the highs of the day, but up almost 60 basis points. Where do you think we finish?
I do think we're going to finish up. Clearly, it's a tough call, huh? But I think you're going to see profit taking most likely in the afternoon trade as everybody lightens up on the week. However, this type of news about Russia could give us enough of a stimulus here to keep this drive going, because any news on that front would be a very big positive to the financial world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you again on Monday.